Mining asteroids sounds like something out of science fiction. It has undoubtedly featured prominently in a variety of stories, from serious thrillers, Alien, to comedies, Red Dwarf. But until the last 10 years or so, it hasn't taken reality into account. In an executive order he signed on April 6, 2020, President Donald Trump stated that the U.S. does not view space as a common ground for humanity. Public and commercial entities are free to lay their claims on whatever they find, in accordance with the official U.S. stance. This is a significant improvement over the Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act of 2015 from the Obama administration, which stopped short of allowing countries to assert ownership of anything. As you can expect, this has an impact on international law and relations. But before we do that, it's important to understand why we would want to accomplish this and how we intend to achieve it. Presented by AWZ. Large number of resources. We live in a society with electronic devices, widespread international travel, and a burgeoning population that wants such things. You name it, and it's probably in your pocket or parked in your driveway right now. This includes gold, platinum, nickel, iron, etc. Earth's natural resources are limited, and as technology advances, humans are using them up more quickly. However, in space, the same resources are practically endless. Consider the case of platinum. This metal is utilized in products like cardiac pacemakers and as a catalyst to transform crude oil into products that may be used in manufacturing and as fuel. On Earth, platinum is regarded as being scarce. But even without considering additional resources, the asteroid belt in our solar system alone has 1 billion times more platinum than is found on Earth. The most priceless resource is water. Doesn't it sound weird that way? There are enough rare metals nearby to destroy the Earth, but prospectors are most motivated to discover water. Water does, in fact, provide life. They are seeking fuel rather than life, nevertheless. Hydrogen and oxygen are the two elements that make up water. An electrical catalyst with onboard or external equipment can accomplish this separation. Water can be broken down into its constituent parts, which can then be used to generate electricity for things like fuel cells and life support systems. It might be a cooling drink if left as water. NASA intends to build space depots. They would draw water from neighboring sources, use a catalyst to purify it, and then siphon it to the craft that was docked. They would essentially be gas stations in space. New mining techniques and tools. When dealing with moving items in a low-gravity environment, the equipment and methods we have developed to mine on Earth won't work. They can be extremely delicate or extremely difficult to mine, depending on their chemical makeup. The fragile asteroids, also referred to as carbonaceous chondrites, are noted for their high water content. A horde of bots with thorny feet might mine them. The bots would latch, take any necessary minerals, including water, and then return to base. The bots wouldn't even need to drill because these asteroids are so delicate they could just scrape along the surface. M-type asteroids are those that are challenging to mine, metallic. Being essentially large pieces of flying metal, they provide a greater problem. It might be easier to magnetize them and pull them towards Earth for processing. We would then colonize the solar system as a result. Asteroids would be treated in space, on the moon, or on other planets as they were dragged closer to Earth. This would make it possible to purify these materials before returning them to Earth. More significantly, they might be employed to create fresh colonies and maintain old ones. The first permanent human populations outside of Earth would be produced by the industries surrounding asteroid mining. The chairman of Deep Space Industries, Rick Tumlinson, sums it up thus: "Until we learn how to live off the land there, we will only be guests in space." Heavy-duty 3D printers that can operate in zero gravity have been created by Microgravity Foundry. These can be utilized to construct power plants with solar panels, communication equipment, and eventually, as additional resources are extracted, entire colonies. Market prices are absurd. Space distances are measured in numerical units that are difficult for the human brain to understand and contextualize. They are so enormous that, in order to make things manageable, the distance to an object beyond of our solar system is measured in light years. The distance that light travels in a year is measured in terms of a light year, which is roughly 9.46 trillion kilometers, 5.88 trillion miles. Distances inside our solar system are expressed in astronomical units, AU. The average separation between Earth and the Sun, or 1 AU, is roughly 150 million kilometers, 93 million miles. Despite being a smaller unit, that is difficult to understand. Imagine $1 quintillion. We'll refer to them as QT abbreviations from now on. That's $1 trillion, which wouldn't even scratch the surface of your net worth and could be used to purchase the entire global economy. The cheapest big mineable asteroid, Messalina, is only worth $1.07 QT. Davida is the most expensive at $26.99 QT. The total number of zeros from all of the lesser-known mineable asteroids outside the top 50 would certainly exceed the allotted word count for this section. The economy will change. In the past, the De Beers Corporation had a monopoly on diamonds that gave them market control. It was a means of maintaining high pricing while seeing their profits increase. Imagine bringing back to Earth $1 quintillion worth of diamonds. If supply outpaced demand, diamond prices would fall precipitously. They might be included in Happy Meals at no cost to McDonald's. For us consumers, this is fantastic news. For corporations and nations that rely significantly on these resources for economic success, however, this is not good. With 30% of the world's mineral resources, the African continent boasts sizable cobalt, gold, and platinum industries. It is difficult to predict how space mining will ultimately affect these businesses. It depends on how expensive it is to mine asteroids and ship the minerals to Earth. Perhaps space will provide the better markets for asteroid miners. However, if space mining increases the number of rivals for Earthbound industries, it would compel mineral-producing nations to drastically alter their economies. Many nations might not have the financial means to fund a space mission to uncover new resources. Additionally, this can deteriorate relations abroad. However, if costs drop too much, asteroid miners may find it unprofitable to market their wares on Earth. Yes, it's the typical US against Russia space race brawl, much like the race to put a man on the moon. It's already straining international relations. The race to the moon continues. However, there is a lot more Putin this time around and no communism. Attempts to expropriate outer space and aggressive ambitions to really capture regions of other planets hardly set the countries on course for fruitful cooperation, the Russian space agency Roscosmos said in a statement. Simply unacceptable, said Dmitry Peskov, a spokesman for the Kremlin. International laws issues. The phrase outer space is not subject to national appropriation by claim of sovereignty is found in the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which the US, the UK, and the Soviet Union all signed. Only 5 countries have ratified the 1979 Moon Agreement, which addresses activities specifically on the Moon and other celestial bodies. They exclude the United States and Russia. 8. We are aware from experience that this is not the case, despite the fact that the Outer Space Treaty makes reference of governments being accountable for non-governmental groups. Governments won't always accept responsibility in this way, for instance, when they hire private security companies in conflict areas. Nations create their own laws. Countries are beginning to develop their own laws to regulate how their citizens can explore and use resources in space because so few countries signed the more recent Moon Agreement in 1979. Donald Trump accomplished this with his executive order on April 6, 2020. Luxembourg, however, had previously gone far further. According to their law on the exploration and use of space resources, which went into effect on July 20, 2017, Luxembourg companies, or European businesses with registered offices in Luxembourg, are permitted to claim ownership of their extraterrestrial resources once the Luxembourg government has given its consent. This may provide a means for businesses in other European nations to get around stricter rules in their home country. However, this is not definite. In a way, Luxembourg might resemble Switzerland in terms of global finance and asteroid mining. It might end climate change. It appears to be all doom and gloom at this time. Countries are ruthlessly enriching themselves at the expense of others, and it appears that the likelihood of all-out war is rising. But do not fret. There is a bright side to every cloud. Long-term solutions to the problems associated with asteroid mining may be found to prevent global climate change, which would have an impact on all countries. On Earth, we could make advantage of more advanced space technologies. Other satellite systems, like GPS, have experienced this before. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and tell your friends about it so we can make more like it. Click the subscribe button to see more content like this, and don't forget to activate the notification bell. Watch our other videos as well if you haven't already. Thank you for viewing.